who would have ever thought that entering Christmas week, the Browns would be 10-4 and all but have secured a spot in the postseason. We're back. Josh and Joe, WFNY Instant Insights podcast edition, after the Browns just made it look basically pretty easy against the Colt McCoy and Freddie McKitchens. Wow, Freddie McKitchens. Freddie Kitchens led New York Jets, beating them, or New York Giants. Wow, I'm struggling. It's like 20-6. Yeah, I mean, I'll take the win, but it was quite boring.
Hey, a boring loss is a good loss, man. Yeah, they took care of business, like we've seen all year against these low-level teams. They take care of business, and yeah, today it was. Scott talked about it in our Slack channel that this was like the most relaxed game that we've ever had. Like I never really had a thought like, oh, this team could beat us. I felt good about the whole game. And Baker was excellent, continuing off his 3-week.
Is this the real Baker?
I think so, man. Yeah, I think it's like I tweeted about it. How connected they are with him and Stefanski in the play calling. They're just running it with perfection right now. His accuracy is just off the charts. He was throwing lasers today, man.
And let's pour one out again for, is the Browns offense better without OBJ? Because that had to have been brought up at least 10 times tonight.
Oh my God. yeah. Let's just, as Browns fans, can we just agree? Can we just hold that off until the offseason? Let's talk about it later. Like, this team's 10-4, and they have a really realistic chance next week to clinch for the playoffs. Your Cleveland Browns are playoff.
I can't believe that, like, it's Christmas. And there's usually two things I don't want to talk about during Christmas, and it's politics and the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
One of those things I'll love to talk about, and it's sure as heck not politics.
Yeah, I have a Steelers fan in my family, and it has always been rough talking.
You have to take advantage. It's almost like
Ohio
State over Michigan, because eventually Michigan's going to beat Ohio State. This year, you have to take advantage of the Browns actually being good.
Seriously, yeah, it's like. Even last year when we were like fighting for the playoffs, like midway through the season and Pittsburgh were struggling, I still couldn't gloat because then we lost to them. So it's nice to be in this position to be 10-4 and 90% now, I think, for the playoffs. So.
I feel like if I wrote the Cleveland Browns are 10-4, spell check would like underline it in red and say the sentence is not correct.
Right.
It doesn't sound right to say
wild,
it. I won't type it.
I know. I like just getting to double-digit wins. Like, it's just unimaginable.
Hey, it's a whole new world.
It is, man. It is. We have a quarterback that's just throwing darts. We have a coaching staff that just runs game management and game calling to perfection, man. It's great to see.
Do you know what was also great to see? Speaking of game management and clock management and play calling, was that going against Freddie Kitchens is so much better than him being on your side. Like that fourth down call where like it was like that fake. I don't even know what it was. It was like, wow, the Freddie Kitchens experience is a lot better than the side.
It's night and day, man.
I love Freddie, but holy cow. Like seeing it from the other side, that's why I feel like when the Browns took the lead, I was like, all right, game's over. There's no way a Freddie Kitchens and Colt McCoy-led offense is coming back from this. No shot.
Right, yeah. They just put him in a hole early, and it was like, okay, what are they going to do? Colt McCoy's going to turn into an actual good quarterback. Yeah, it was another game that the Browns were huge, had a huge advantage in the coaching aspect. Stefanski just dominated.
And also just got red line for spell check.
Right, I know, right?
It was yet again, the Browns had an advantage in the code, like not only coaching but play calling, like everything.
Right. how many times have we said that this year? This is like it's gotta be.
Well, besides the
double digits
games that
there.
we don't count, which is the
Yeah.
2 blowouts that we don't
Right.
know about, I'd say
Right.
it's almost every game.
It is wild how just it's like he's like a veteran coach, man. He's just making the right decisions. That game management at the end of the first half, where he ran down the clock and scored a touchdown. Like, when have we ever seen the clock management that way?
We all know what would have happened if it was last year, Joe. We all know. Let's not rehash any of that.
Oh my god, it would have been. We would have been at like the 50-yard line and ran out of time. But yeah, it's great to see, man. It's just the whole offense is just moving so well. Even the run game wasn't that great today, but the pass game just stepped up again. It's showing that this is more than a one-dimensional offense.
The running game didn't have to do anything, though. I mean, Nick Chubb had 15 carries or 50 yards and a touchdown.
Right. Yeah.
They had 106 yards on the ground, but they didn't. I mean, when Baker Mayfield, I want to know what happened to Baker Mayfield the last like 3 or 4 games, because he literally looks completely different. I think part of that is confidence. Like, he's playing like this, so he's just his cocky self, which is awesome when the Browns are winning and he's playing like this. But I want to know, like, what changed? Like, was it something behind closed doors and practice and preparation? I don't know, but I love it.
I feel like we can't just say the last 3 games, because prior to that we had the 3 worst weather games of all time. So like we couldn't really. It was hard to tell like how bad he was or how good he was in those circumstances. So it might have been even longer strides where he was just getting more comfortable with this offense. I think that's just the main thing, man. Just getting comfortable.
Getting more comfortable without OBJ. Just say it. Just say it, Joe.
I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it shows you that how much coaching matters. Like last year, it showed. Like he had no help from the coaches. He was put out on an island, and it showed. And
not only no help, but Baker, like the coaching staff, made things tougher for Baker than
they did.
Like, not doing anything at all.
Yeah, how many weeks did I show in my film room last year where it would be like a 3rd and 10, and they would have like 5 out, and it would be all like streaks down the field. Like that's not helpful. That
or 4th and 8 and run a draw play,
or that too. Yeah, it's like it's just night and day, man. Just the coaching, and it's fun to watch, man.
I mean, yes, I'll compare this to when Ohio State was struggling yesterday. I was like, all right, it's the Buckeyes. They're going to come back and win.
Right.
From the opening kick tonight, I was like, there's no shot the Browns lose this game. No shot.
Right. I
think that's the first time I can ever say that about the Browns.
I would agree with that. Yeah. I can never. It was a weird feeling today. It was really weird. Just like I was so like last week, I was like nervous. I was kind of like antsy for the beginning of the game. Like today, I was just watching the NFL and just kind of comfortable waiting up to the night game. It's fun. It's fun being in this position.
And for those saying, hey, it's just the Giants and they didn't have Daniel Jones and they didn't have Saquon Barkley, check out what happened in the Jets-Rams game today. Right. It's the NFL. A win's a win.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that already, which is just ridiculous. It seems like they keep making excuses, but they're producing. That's all we can ask for.
I'll continue to say it, and this is a shout out to everyone at WFNY. There's a lot of haters when it comes to the Browns being successful.
There is.
No matter what the Browns do to win a game, there's always going to be people on the other side explaining why they shouldn't have won or why they did did win.
Right. Yeah. It's as people who watch it every week, we see a difference. There's a huge difference with this team, just even from the beginning of the season. This team, this is a different team, an improving team each week, and it's great to see.
It's not only great, but it's freaking fun.
I
gotta tell you, last time I had fun during the Browns game, especially in December, like that's such a fun concept.
Right. Yeah.
Usually, Browns in December is losing football games to get a better draft pick.
Yeah. Yeah, we would be
Shout out
talking
to the
draft.
Jets for losing Trevor Lawrence today. My condolences to all Jets fans. But seriously, to be able to have fun and root for a winner in late December is just. I'm 29 years old, and I don't think I've experienced that I can remember.
No, it was a bit like with the Kelly Holcomb offenses and stuff, but like that was way back, and they still barely got in that year. This is just they're winning and they're scoring points, and it's fun to watch, man. And
winning and scoring points. Oh my gosh.
Right.
So weird.
Like how many times have we saw wins where we would score like 7 points, or it would be like 12-6 or something like that. Like we're scoring points. We're one of the top offenses right now. It's
points.
Fun, man.
OBJ was brought up a lot tonight, but I don't think I heard one point differential topic.
Positive.
Wow, there is progress.
Today helped that.
Yeah, no, I actually just looked it up. The Browns are still they're -6.
Oh, we're so close.
So close for you.
Next week, fun. I feel it. Next week, we got the Jets, man. We got to run up the score next week.
I know I said this a lot, but I feel like even if you combine the Jets and Giants, I don't think they'd be a playoff team still. That's how bad they are. That's why I don't get like however the Rams lost today.
Right.
Not only are the Jets bad, but they have Adam Gase as their head coach. It's like that's the part where a double negative does not make a positive.
Right. Frank Gore is the running back. Like
yeah, he's
800-year-old Frank Gore is your running back.
Frank Gore was around before computers, so like he was around before podcasts even started. That's crazy.
It's wild, man. I couldn't believe that. As we said earlier, that just shows you like you can't take these wins for granted, man. Like the Jets won today. Like I've been saying all year, this is the worst team I've ever seen, and they won a game. That's just wild.
The only part that stinks about the Jets winning is that they're not going to go 0-16 anymore. Yeah. Shout out to the Browns. Too bad. The Browns going 0-16 seems like decades ago, not just a couple of years. But we're in a new regime, brand new team. It is what it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to shout out the offensive line too today. They lost Hubbard today, or early on, like almost the second or third play, and Nick Harris stepped in. It was awesome to see. Their pass blocking. They faced a really good defensive line, and they shut them down in pass blocking, which helped Baker just expose their defense secondary. So yeah, shout out to the offensive line. They were huge today.
I know we've been saying the next man up, and it's cliche, but for the Browns offensive line to do that, I mean, they were without Wyatt Teller, so they had to go to Chris Hubbard. And then Chris Hubbard went down, so they went to basically their third string right guard, and Nick Harris balled out especially as a rookie. And I think it proved that the Browns have a bunch of depth up front.
Yeah, we saw it all across the offense. Like, if you really look at our offense, we've had guys step up. Look at our receiving core. We've had Rashard Higgins.
Wait, who are they missing at receiver? Oh yeah, OBJ. Okay. Go on.
Donovan Peoples-Jones just has stepped up, made big plays week after week now. It's across this offense that they show that they have depth on this team, and really quality depth that can step in and play and be productive, which is new for a Cleveland Browns team.
As an Ohio State fan, I need to hate on Michigan in every podcast. So shout out to Harbaugh and the Wolverines.
Oh my gosh,
for not showing Donovan Peoples-Jones' potential at Michigan and allowing him to drop to the 6th round to the Browns. Thank you very much.
It is wild. Like it just shows how much bad quarterbacking coaching they had. Like, this kid has stepped in from.
Like, you don't. Oh, go on.
He stepped in from his rookie season, and he's making big plays for him. Like that Cincinnati game where he got the winning touchdown. Like what were they doing at Michigan, man?
You don't even need a negative recruit. If you're just recruiting a wide receiver that is also being recruited by Michigan, just go show them. Donovan Peoples-Jones stats. Right. I actually looked it up. Donovan Peoples-Jones needs like 140 more yards in the final 2 games to have more receiving yards this season than he did as a senior at Michigan.
That's wild.
Which is crazy. It's crazy, dude.
Dude is their number one receiver.
He was the number one receiver. I mean, he barely played when OBJ was healthy. I mean,
right. He didn't play until a week.
Really, he's not like a game-changing wide receiver, but he's like he can turn into like a really good wideout.
Right. Yeah, just like Higgins has. Like it's amazing that they just keep putting guys out there and they're producing, which is just a huge kudos to the offensive coaching staff. They're getting these guys ready to play, even if they're not suited to play right away or if they're not expected to start. They're ready and they're ready to go, which is what you want in coaching. That's one of the bigger things in coaching, I think. Just having players ready to go. Like,
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
play calling is obviously the most important.
Yeah.
But to have this much depth is not only like a sign of having a good general manager that knows how to put a team together, but it's a sign of a good coaching staff that knows how to get the best out of their players, no matter if they're starters, second stringers, or third stringers. Like Nick Harris proved today. I mean, who would have ever thought 2 weeks ago that Nick Harris would be playing significant snaps?
Right. They went on that's their third on the depth chart guard, and he played really good. I think he let up one sack against one of the best defensive lines in the league. That's wild, and that's great to see. It just shows that they have a developmental coaching staff and just a really damn good one.
That's still such a foreign concept. The Browns have a really damn good coaching staff. I feel like, is that like even allowed to be said?
Right? It's like, it's so weird. Like
I'm so used to being negative about the Browns that it's weird to be so positive and like be like truthful about it.
So much stuff we said this year is like, I can't believe we're saying it about a Cleveland Browns team. We haven't said it in 20 or 30 years now.
I don't think I could have said it in my lifetime, to be honest.
Right? Yeah.
I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be negative, but just as a Browns fan, I'm used to being negative, and I'm used to trying to be like optimistic, even though it's not realistic. Now you can be optimistic and have it be realistic.
Right. Yeah. We actually can back up our optimism with like actual results, which is just so fun. This team is just so fun, man.
It is. It really is fun. I just can't believe that Christmas is 5 days away and the Browns are 10-4.
10-4, and then let's talk about the playoff situation here. So 10-4, we got the Jets next week, which is just like the Giants game today.
I'll say it. I know the Browns can be the Browns sometimes, but I'll say it. W. I agree, man. I know we're probably jinxing ourselves, but still, like we saw today a bad team, and the Giants, they're worse than that, and I think the Browns will take care of business. So we get that W, hopefully, if we follow through, and then we're just looking for one loss from either the Ravens, Dolphins, or Colts, and then they're in. So next week, Browns fans, we might have a playoff team officially. Joe will buy the champagne and we will pop it live on stream.
Oh yeah. Like I hope it's during, like, if they get the result during the game or something like that, and they can actually celebrate afterwards. That would be fun to see.
Or just go celebrate during the game and just leave Adam Gase's team just standing there and not knowing what to do. I'm fine with that too.
With his eyes.
Oh, don't let me. I won't do it. It's too scary. Too late at night.
Sorry, everybody.
Seriously, I watched his post-game press conference and he did it again. Like, I don't know if that's just his natural look. Like, someone needs to tell him, like, Adam,
you're scary.
You need to change it. You need to change your look. I don't know if he has a wife, but if he does, his wife has to be like, yo, you have to change your look.
What are you doing, dude?
Like, there's a death stare, and then there's a death stare, and then he has like the death stare. It's scary.
It's scary, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with Adam Gase and the Jets. I mean, they already ruined their chances at Trevor Lawrence. I feel like they can't even ruin their chances even more by winning again. So I feel like they're gonna not only stink but try to lose.
Yeah, it's. I think they got their win out of their way. I think they feel good about that, and then they'll be back to the Jets that we know and love. So it's actually good that they got their win out of the way this past week, and the Browns can just.
That would have been the Browns' thing ever to have the Jets be the first win. I mean, that would have been the past Browns, not this year's Browns. Right. This year's Browns are completely different, but
yeah,
man, that I think I would have abandoned this podcast if that would have happened.
It would be just the Joe podcast. Josh has officially quit.
I'm sending in my letter of resignation, and I'm out. Even though there is no letter of resignation because this isn't a full-time job, but hey, it is what it is. But seriously, I don't think next week's game would do that. Yeah, next week's game should be if the Browns take care of business. The the most important thing about next week's game is staying healthy and getting healthy, just like today. I hope Hubbard and Sheldon Richardson aren't too bad off. I mean, I'm fine if they miss next week. That's fine with me. That shouldn't be too big of a loss next week. I'd rather have them for 100% for Pittsburgh than like 80% next week and 90% for Pittsburgh. So
yeah, let's hope we can get Teller back for Pittsburgh because I think the run game it definitely shows when Teller's not there. It just doesn't run as smoothly. So hopefully they can get him back, and hopefully Miles can get back. He tweeted after the game that COVID sucks, man. It is hurting him, man. It is rough.
I can only imagine. Like, not only must it stink trying to breathe while like playing football, but especially in that cold weather. Oh my gosh, that has to be.
And you're getting hit in the chest every play. Like, it's got to be just rough.
And let's be honest, we're all humans. You know that NFL players are hitting him in the chest purposely because they know he had COVID.
Oh, every play I would imagine he's getting a quick jab in the chest. Yeah, it's showing, man. He hasn't been the same, and that just shows you how bad that disease that virus can be.
They did it a little too much tonight, but they zoomed in on him a lot. I know in the first half, and he was always heavy breathing, no matter what down it was, no matter if it was the first play of the drive or second play of the drive, anything. He was always breathing very heavy.
Yeah, I think that's why they kind of left him out there late in the game. There, you were wondering like what are they doing? I think they're just trying to get him back into shape, kind of not shape, but like just getting his breathing back and getting his training back, just so it can feel better because he's struggling out there, man. He's obviously still being.
And the Browns are going to need him in the playoffs. They need him to be at least like 95%.
Yeah,
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, they need dominant Miles, which has been Olivier Vernon to step up without the full healthy Myles Garrett. He's had a nice stretch of games the last few weeks. He's really stepping up for this defense. They needed somebody to come and help Miles.
But I mean, when the offense looks this good, do you really need a dominant defense, especially against the opponents that they face? I mean, in the playoffs, obviously, it's a different story. But
that's what we're looking forward. Like that's also another change. Like, we're not even looking at our next opponent right now. We're looking towards the playoffs and towards better teams, which is
at this point we're usually looking forward to next April for the NFL draft, not like. Looking ahead to 2 weeks from now in the playoffs.
Which will be defense. Yeah.
We won't talk about that. But if there was a bet for how many defensive players the Browns would draft, I'd bet all of their picks. Maybe one random one. But yeah, it would definitely be the over no matter what.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That the defense they only gave up 6 points, but it was still not the greatest performance in the world. They definitely lived up to their bend but don't break defense philosophy that they've been showing. But yeah, they left a lot
They made Colt McCoy look like Tom Brady out there in the first quarter at times. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, defense, you can't blame this one on Anderson Dejo either. He's not even playing. So what are we doing here?
Luckily, the Jets have bad coaching, or the Giants were having really bad coaching decisions in that first half with the red zone decisions.
Shout out to the good old Freddie Kitchens. Wait, a Freddie Kitchens led offense struggled in the red zone? Who saw that coming?
Yeah, I think they got in 3 times and they came away with 3 points.
3 times, 3 points.
Like that's
like
hard.
I think that basically proves that last year's struggles in the red zone were totally due to coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I love Freddie, but holy cow.
Let's talk about that. And on the other side, the Browns defense came in as one of the top red zone offenses, and they faced the number 1 defense in the red zone, and they shredded them. They went in there. I think they were perfect getting touchdowns in the red zone today.
I know they were at least 2 for 2, but I don't know if they went into the red zone later in the game because honestly, I didn't really pay attention too much to that kind of stuff late in the game. But yeah, I know they started off 2 for 2.
Yep, 3 for 3. Yep. Yeah, they were 3 for 3 today versus the best red zone defense. So
2 touchdowns and a field goal, I'm assuming. No, my bad. They had a missed extra.
Yeah.
I forgot. I was thinking they had 2 field goals. Yeah, they had, which by the way is not Cody Parkey's fault. That was due to the penalty. I mean, they had a 48-yard extra point, and it went boink.
Speaking of penalties, how about that drive where they overcame 2 penalties in the red zone? One of them was like a 10-yard penalty, and they still scored a touchdown. Like how many times? How many times have we seen it? I think it was. I think one of them was 15 yards.
Clipping or just clipping?
Clipping, yeah, it was clipping, which I think is 15 yards.
It's 10, but I think it was a personal foul because it was an offensive lineman, not another offensive lineman or a defensive lineman. I mean.
Yeah, which is
so. Yeah, they overcame a lot, and then Nick Chubb still scored.
Right, like how many times have we seen that like penalties just derail offense possession, and we would score up
like, all right, it's 4th and goal from the Browns' 45-yard line.
And missed field goal. It's fun, man.
Being able to not only score in the red zone, but get touchdowns in the red zone is going to be so key against a team like Pittsburgh in the postseason. I mean, you not like field goals won't even be good enough. If you're in the red zone, you have to score touchdowns.
Right. It's wild. Like just the improvement from last year. That was probably the number 1 struggle for them. The Browns just could not score touchdowns in the red zone last year, and this year they're doing it with a lot of success, and it's
by number 1. And we come 1A, 1B, 1C because there were a lot of number 1 struggles last year with Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah, right. And we come back to the same thing. Why are they better? Coaching.
Coaching matters, people. Yeah. Coaching matters.
Like this game was all about that. Just the improvement of the coaching. It just so happened to be that we played Freddie Kitchens, but it was just it just showed that coaching matters and how much to improve that this coaching staff has done for this team.
Like I already said, I love Freddie. I wish he would have had success because he seems like a good.
He seems like a good dude.
Head all night tonight, seeing that the Browns are 10-4 after what happened last year.
Right.
When they didn't really add anyone. Let's be honest, they didn't really make that big of changes since last year. I mean, they added a few here and there, but to go from last year to this year, and the only big change was the coaching staff, Freddie has to be like, man, I really did suck last year.
I guess I'm not a head coach material. I think he learned that just
like
watching.
I win more on the Browns general manager for hiring Freddie than I do Freddie himself because he just wasn't prepared. But I'm with that. We're not talking about last year anymore.
Yeah,
the Browns are 10-4. There's 2 games left in the regular season, and we're talking about the postseason. It's still, like I said, it still does not seem real.
It doesn't. I can't wait for next week. Fighting the mighty Jets. Let's take them down.
The Fighting Adam Gases. It'll be the first time I watch a post-game press conference because I just need to look at Adam Gase's eyes. Because it's scary, but like it's hysterical at the same time.
We'll get to see him a lot during the game. We might have some staring in the game too.
Oh, there'll be some staring. Oh yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be so glorious.
Oh yeah.
What's even better about next week is that there's a very good chance that the Browns will have a positive point differential. They'll be 11-4 with a positive point differential.
We made it, guys. We're almost there. We're so close, guys. We're almost there. We're at the finish line. I can feel it.
The Browns are currently +6. They'll find a way to win by 5. I don't know how it will happen, but they'll find a way to win by 5.
It's been like that all year. They've had so many useless garbage touchdowns scored against them. It's just astounding how many they've had. I think someone did it it was 5 or 6 games that they just it's like they're scoring these garbage touchdowns and just hurting us point differential, which shows you that point differential is a bunch of.
It's almost like it doesn't matter except for ESPN headlines. That's really the only thing, and for national radar headlines.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure we'll see one again this week.
Luckily, there's no tiebreaker.
6-point differential.
Luckily, there's no tiebreaker for point differential.
So good.
It truly doesn't matter.
Oh man, that would be so Browns. The Browns miss out on the playoffs by having a negative point differential. Oh my, that'd be the most Cleveland thing of all Cleveland things.
That would be, but luckily there's not.
Yeah, but seriously, the Browns took care of business tonight, beating the Giants in a very boring win, but I'll take a very boring win over a very boring loss any day of the week, especially after the Jets just beat the Rams today.
Right.
It proved that any W in the NFL is a good W, no matter who it comes from.
Amen.
So yeah, Sunday night, Browns took care of business on national TV. They are 10-4. That still doesn't seem real.
Double digits.
But yeah, 2 games left in the regular season. They have a chance to clinch a playoff spot with a win and with some help next week. So I don't think we'll be popping champagne, but maybe we will. Maybe. I don't know. There's a slim shot, but maybe.
Hey, also, a nice thing next week, we can watch a Pittsburgh game and be okay with either result because Pittsburgh plays the Colts next week. So if they win, that means we're in. If they lose, that means the Steelers lost, which is always good to watch.
That's always good.
Always good. Just like Michigan when they lose. So
yeah,
it's
for
going to
sure.
be fun next week.
But yeah, so for those that celebrate Christmas, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
for those
everybody.
that don't, have a very happy holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy the Browns being 10-4. It still doesn't seem real. I'll continue to say that. But the Browns are 10-4 in late December. Yeah, everyone have a good Christmas and a good holiday. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.